Good evening, American, and welcome to the Revived American blog. Hope you all had a wonderful day. I sure did. And tonight I'm going to go a little into of what I'm attempting to do with this blog and the topics I will discuss throughout my posts in this series. This idea kind of came to me yesterday, and I'm pretty fired up about it. And hopefully, the point is to encourage and motivate other Americans into doing the right thing and getting your voice heard and speaking out against the corruption that's going on in America right now and what you could do to change it. And this is kind of what I'm trying to do to change it. Maybe get my voice heard and spread the word to others who might enjoy watching my blog posts. My personal opinion will definitely be used throughout this blog, but I'm going to definitely support it with facts and create good arguments for the different topics that I'm going to be speaking about throughout my different series. And I'm going to try to do a weekly series on different topics that maybe you all will give me an idea of what to discuss, but I also have topics I've already thought of and thought of some good points and parts. But I'm looking at five to six different parts per series and about 10 to 15, 20 minutes per part. So hopefully I'll have a lot of good information for each of these. Hopefully I can post a new one every other day or every few days, but some are going to take a little longer than others due to the wealth of information I will try to put into the different videos, or maybe a different topic I might feel more passionately about than others. I will probably put more information in than something I might not feel as passionate about. But tonight I'm going to give you a little preview into my upcoming 6-part series, and I titled it Liberalism and the Downfall of America's Children, along with some other ideas for future topics. So what I have right now, I've created a little outline, and I've kind of looked at different parts that I kind of want to get at. I came up with 6 parts so far. I might add a 7th, but these are all pretty broad topics that I'm going to give a couple bullet points for. And in my outline for the post, I'm going to give the bullet points for the actual parts, and then I'm going to discuss in finer detail on the videos that I actually post. Starting again, the title is going to be Liberalism and the Downfall of America's Children, and kind of discussing how liberal viewpoints are going to, or already are, destroying our children's childhood, and how we're kind of perverting their mindset on a bunch of different things that it wasn't like this maybe 25 or even 10 years ago, even when I was growing up, and how things have changed that I see in schools nowadays. Part 1 is going to be talking about Hollywood and how Hollywood movies, it used to be, when I was growing up, I was watching Sandlot, a bunch of kids getting around, being active in the baseball field, having a good time, maybe getting in a little trouble as far as, doing things maybe they might not should be doing, but it's all good fun. And movies like that really build friendships in children and kind of relate to what children should be doing nowadays, instead of, the video game era and how kids are really growing up these days and what they're doing. Now, other movies, an older one is, for some of you older adults, as back in the day, it was To Kill a Mockingbird. Book I've read actually in high school. I think we had to do it for a report or something. But just an overall good quality book about a good family and kids getting into mischief, but just doing out things and doing manly things like shooting BB guns, and getting in trouble, stuff like that. Swiss Family Robinson was another one of my favorites growing up. I wore the cover out of it. My mom always talked. I had a little VHS tape, and I always watched that movie. But just real adventure movies, and teaching kids good morals, and not stuff that's portrayed in Hollywood these days. Like I guess a couple I thought of is maybe like Juno, for example. Movies that really portray teen pregnancy as an okay thing, even though it's very it's not okay, and for them to be encouraging that through movies and trying to, my whole view is that right now Hollywood is really trying to push their social agenda on how gay marriage is right and teen pregnancy is okay, and different stuff like that. I'm going to kind of get at with my first part on Hollywood and how Hollywood is really corrupting our children these days, and how PG movies aren't really PG, and PG-13 movies and that should be rated R, but they're not, and teens are getting in to see these movies that they probably should not be watching at a young age. And my part 2 is going to be the evolution of television and how television has really evolved, even in my childhood, as far as what's on TV. And again, with the whole Hollywood thing, shows like Teen Mom, 16 and Pregnant on MTV, and how could that possibly be sending a good message to our teenage kids that are growing up now? And we're glamorizing, putting these teen moms, Britney Spears' sister, putting these teen moms on front of magazines. Bristol Palin, just really glamorizing the fact that they're pregnant and a teen. It's like a cool thing to do, which is really not. It creates broken families, and at that age, you're not mature enough or have a stable income or even the mental or probably physical capacity to take care of a child in high school, which is kind of sickening. And just another thing with television these days is, it really portrays, I got a couple other points as far as from my buddy Michael Nolte, and he said, talking about, how most movies and TV shows these days really don't portray a solid father figure in the kids' lives. And for example, the 2.5 Men, Charlie is a womanizer, and Alan is a divorced male, and they're just kind of raising this kid, bringing women home, doing stuff like that, really not creating a good example for children. And there's really no shows out there right now that really, and even in my lifetime, I can't really recall. I might have to look into that for that part. But as far as shows that really put a good example for kids to watch, that families could sit down and watch, and create a good example for their children. Another thing I feel really passionate about is what I'm going to do for my part 3 is sports, and how nowadays kids are really getting babied in sports, and how Little League and T-ball and stuff, and how kids are really, even if they finish last place in a league, they still get trophies. What's the point of even playing or practicing or trying to win the game if they know they're going to get a trophy and a party and everything at the end of the year, even if they finish last place, don't even win a game. And I just feel like these kids are really getting babied. And I'm going to talk about this throughout the series, and how children are really getting sissified in America, and really babied, and we're not really breeding good, strong young men. Kind of Boy Scouts, as far as how Boy Scouts are really teach kids life lessons and camping, stuff like that, doing outdoor stuff that men